Close, Atama 5, Owola Hansen Lane, Tessano, Accra. My name is Philip Latte. Coming up. Workers at Gihog Distilleries Limited demand removal of managing director amidst protests.
Kind of debt block I have incurred. The company cannot produce buy raw materials. Neither can it. Is the company able to pay workers? The company is owing workers Providence Fund a lot, more than a year.
Tragic Galamsey incident claims 7 lives in Koliptai mining community. Ghanaian social media influencer Haja for real extradited to US for alleged $2 million Lonely Hearts scam. And also, Adam Agbana declared winner of NDC parliamentary primaries in Ketu North constituency.
We needed to go with the original result, and that original result had candidates Adam Agbana having 360 votes, followed very closely by candidate John Adano, who had 359.
Once again, you're welcome to CNR Extra live or on CCTV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204 447033. We are streaming live on YouTube. You can join us there on CityTube. Ni Latte, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Philip, for
having me. How are you doing, my brother?
Well.
You don't come on Mondays, you don't come on Tuesdays, you come on Wednesdays. You're my brother. Anyway, so let's bring you the very first story. That has to do with the workers of Gihog Distilleries Limited. They are demanding the removal of the managing director amidst protests.
Staff of Gihog Distilleries Limited here in the Greater Accra region are demanding the immediate removal of the managing director, Maxwell Kofi Juma, over what they say is poor management of the company. The workers who embarked on a protest at the premises of the company amidst heavy police presence insist their salaries and social security and the National Insurance Trust contributions have been in arrears for some time now. Now, City News' Nashika Caesar has more.
Clad in red armbands and red attire, scores of workers of the Gihog Distilleries Limited on Tuesday morning embarked on a protest calling for the immediate sacking of their boss, the managing director of the company, Maxwell Kofi Juma. Even the presence of heavily armed police personnel at the premises could not deter the staff as they openly chanted that the MD must go. Their concerns, among others, are that their salaries have been in arrears for months and the non-payment of their SNIT contributions.
The kind of debt block I have incurred. The company cannot produce buy raw materials. Neither can it. Is the company able to pay workers? The company is owing workers Providence Fund a lot, more than a year. SNITs and also other things. Earnings and salaries hardly come. As I speak with you, the company is about 2 months now having paid us.
In fact, we've been in debt with our Providence Fund for over a year now. Most of us that have been on pension, okay, are in arrears for their Providence Fund to be paid to them. Okay, our SNIT is now in court. We are battling SNIT because of all these issues, monetary. Those even who have even signed for, let's say, insurances. The end of the month, the money will come, the insurance was not being paid to them. Now we are still in debt. The company is owing us a whole month's salary that has not been paid to us. As we start now, we don't know when it will be paid.
You are working and salary is not coming. Your pension is not being paid. Provident is not being paid. Your SNIT is not being paid. Then there's a clear indication. Even GRA, we owe GRA. We have been served a letter by GRA. SNIT has sent us to court. You understand? According to the Deputy Minister, we are owing over 300 million. So,
Deputy Minister of which trade?
They also accused Mr. Juma, who has been the MD of GIHOC for the last 6 years, of mismanaging the company and plunging it into debt.
The MD was actually on a sick leave. So the IMC, according to the board, brought the IMC to look at the day-to-day activity of the company. And now, about 2 weeks ago, we heard the MD is coming back. So we were fortunate to have the Deputy Minister of Trade to come here in our premises. He made us assure that they have extended the leave limit of the managing director. So we were expecting him to resume at that time. Then suddenly he has come back. And when the minister also came, we made him know our concerns. Monies, goods are sold, monies don't go to the company's account. When the IMC was in place for just 2 or 3 weeks, we can see the work the IMC is doing. All what we want is that the IMC continue until a substantive minister or MD is appointed. Because the system we are running here, you cannot run a company like GIHOC and cancel external security contract and employ the security personnel and withdraw the security from the warehouse, you withdraw the security from the production floor, you withdraw the security from all vintage points. For what reason?
He was sick for a while and he was asked to proceed on leave. And during his absence, the different IMC was set up. We got to know that.
What is IMC?
Interim management. His managerial and then the IMC also got to know that sales of scraps, that's we generate sales of scraps. That's our seals, our drums that the alcohols are being kept in. Those are sales of scraps. That sometimes they do generate for sales, and that money is given back to the company coffers. That is what we are talking about. There are so a lot of things that we don't want to talk about, but these are some of the things that is affecting the workers personally in terms of our pay, our providence fund, our SNIT. In fact, even if you go bank to take loan now, they'll tell you your company is dying.
All attempts by City News to get a response from management on allegations leveled against Mr. Maxwell Juma has been unsuccessful.
So some of the workers at GIHOC distilleries are complaining about mismanagement. Their salaries are in arrears and also non-payment of their social security, among others. It's come to light now that the management of the institution, I think the sales manager indicated that if we have over 600 workers in this particular facility and some over 30 of them are complaining about an issue of this nature, well, it hasn't really synced well with them because they don't really see where the issue is coming from. But I think that sitting down and addressing this issue it's a step to go, or is a direction to go, because if they are complaining that their salaries in arrears, and even the management made mention, well, we've not paid them for the month of April, hoping that in the month of May we are going to pay them and we're going to also give them that of May. You should ask of how these people are also surviving. Very important, because you just can't say that it doesn't really sit well with you for the fact that some 30 of them are demonstrating or protesting, and you have over 600 of them in the institution.
It actually comes down to communication and engagement for what we've heard from the workers and also the response from management of the company. Two powers at play here, if you ask me, because look, the workers, as you may all know, will also try to, raise their concerns over the kind of hardship they are going through as a result of some of the happenings in the company. And for me, when issues like these come up, you realize that the other party will always want to, dismiss the concerns of these workers. And I know it's a very difficult moment for a lot of companies now as we speak, given some of the things that we are seeing in the economy. But be as it may, I'm expecting management of the company not to dismiss the concerns of the workers, but rather sit with them and ensure that they have a roadmap and also address the issues at a particular level. If you want to talk about numbers, it could be that for the rest of the workers who are not participating, if they are to participate in this and, certain actions are being taken, for all you know, they may not be able to bear, for which reason they do not want to participate in the demonstration. So the bold ones who have come out to, really voice out their concerns, we should just try as much as possible that level of engagement. rather than, trying to say that there is no issue at all.
But you could even tell that from the report. The faces of the bold ones who came out to speak had to be, is it blurred, or they had to cover their faces because of fear of victimization. So if these 30 of them are able to come out to speak, and you have over 600 of them who can't come out to speak, that tells you that they are afraid that they will maybe victimized.
Exactly,
but the issue is in there.
Exactly, because of some of the things you have seen in the past. And so for me, I'm expecting the management response to rather tell the picture of what actually the situation is in the company, because workers are there to work, expect their salaries, expect the payment of their SNIT, expect the payment of their provident funds and other incomes that are due them. And for them to come out in this particular manner, it means that the issues have actually come to a neck. And so management should rather be proactive in dealing with some of these labor agitations, rather than that posturing to make it look as if everything is well and good. It's just a few who want to paint the company black. I do not think any worker who has genuine concerns will come out dent the image of the company that fits him or her. I do not think it is in anybody's interest to actually do that. And so I think, and I've always said that for every accusation or allegation, there's always an iota of truth. It may be that the facts and figures are not what the workers are putting out there. It is your responsibility, your duty as an employer or as a management of the company to come out and set the record straight, other than just say, just because 30 out of 500 are demonstrating, it really means that there's nothing at all. So in the coming days, I expect the management of the company to sit with the workers, tell us what exactly the situation is in the company, because 6 years, they say, not only are they even concerned about their personal interests, but the whole company, in general, because companies are expected to have a going concern. So if there is mismanagement that they are leading, it means that they are also concerned. And mind you, these employees are internal stakeholders of the company.
Well, so that is what is happening at Gihog Distilleries. There may be other companies that also have issues with their salaries, salaries in arrears, and issues of social security, among others, in those companies. Well, management of these companies must take it upon themselves to address these issues, and also that of Gihog Distilleries must also take it upon themselves to address the issue that is happening there. Away from that story, let's bring you the story of a social media influencer, that is Hajia For Real, who has been extradited to the U.S. for alleged $2 million Lonely Heart scam.
Ghanaian social media influencer Monaj Montrage, popularly known as Hajia For Real, has been extradited from the United Kingdom to the U.S. for allegedly swindling over $2 million from older single American men and women in a twisted Lonely Heart scam. City News' Akosia Ochre brings us details on this development.
Ghanaian social media influencer Mona Montrage, also known as Hajia For Real, is currently facing charges in the United States in connection with an alleged fraud scheme. Who is this 30-year-old influencer? Hajia For Real is not only known for her stylish appearances and lavish lifestyle, but also for her career as a musician. Luxurious cars, wealth, and physique attract a wide range of followers, both young and old, especially on social media platforms. She has amassed a significant following despite the curiosity surrounding the source of her wealth. Hajia has always maintained that she earned her accumulated wealth through hard work as a businesswoman and advises the young to do same.
Don't forget to pray, no matter what you do, put your prayers first, work hard, especially the ladies, work hard, be determined and focused so that they won't come and say you're spending any man's money, so that no man can sit on your happiness as well.
Hajia For Real finds herself entangled in a legal battle in the United States over allegations of defrauding older single American men and women in a complex romance scam, which targeted individuals seeking companionship. On May 15, 2023, Mona, known by her real name, appeared in a federal court to face charges related to her alleged involvement in a series of romance schemes. This was achieved through fraudulent emails, text messages, and social media communication.
Are you going to send me back my money? Please, I'm begging you, send me back my money. I don't have money like this. God, please. My mom won't even talk to me now because of you. Please, give me my money back. Please, I'm begging you, please. God damn it, please, please, I'm begging you. God, please, please give me my money back.
Social media has been abuzz with reactions to these developments, with many expressing shock at the allegations. Some have even recalled lyrics from Haja Farios's song, God's Child, where she references that all her acquisitions are attributed to divine blessings.
Make accounts of my blessings and my favor. Everything I am from the Most High. From the Most High. Naturally I'm blessed. Funny that look on the face when they see that I'm the best. Naturally I'm blessed. I don't even have to run the race. Naturally I confess. Yeah. Tell me what you gon' wait on.
Lawyer and co-host of City Breakfast Show, Richard Scams and fraud.
Some, white girl or some white man somewhere in the US, and you start exchanging letters. No big deal. So what is she accused of doing? We are told that she used, allegedly, herself, basically within West Africa, to lure unsuspecting victims in the U.S., people well over 50 years, who are in search of love.
Single men.
Exactly, who are
and
in
women.
allegedly, who are in search of love. She used herself to lure them to wire all kinds of money. The reason is that between 2017 and now, worldwide, several billions of US dollars lost.
In that
Exactly.
Yes.
I can give you the express numbers.
Wow.
Because of romance scam. And the point is that people are so shy, they don't want to speak about it.
As in victims.
Yeah, the victims. So, you are looking for love. You go online hoping to get love there. Someone finds you and says, look, Charlie, I like you like that. Let's do it. And then as a result of your search for love and falling in love online, you are manipulated into emptying your bank account and sending that money all the way to Africa or somewhere in the Gulf.
Haja for Real has pleaded not guilty to the charges, and both her lawyer and the prosecutor's office have confirmed that she will be released on home detention at her aunt's residence in New Jersey in the coming days. She will be required to post a $500,000 bond and wear a GPS ankle monitor for tracking purposes.
So that has to do with Hajia for real on the case where she's been extradited to the U.S. for alleged $2 million on Lonely has come. But we take you to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has, by unanimous decision, ordered Parliament to expunge the name of James Gyakye Quayson as Member of Parliament. Let's cross over to the Supreme Court and have a conversation with my colleague Hansen Ajiman via our live view. Hansen Ajiman, good morning. Yes, so what happened in court?
So the Supreme Court was empaneled today to deliver a judgment on an application that was brought by a resident of Asin North in the person of Michael Ankuma Nimfa. Now, the application that he brought to the court was invoking the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to essentially interpret Article 94, Clause 2A of the 1992 Constitution to determine whether or not at the time James Jachikweisen filed to contest as Member of Parliament for Asin North, he was qualified to contest as a Member of Parliament, and whether the subsequent election of James Jachikweisen was constitutional or not. Now, the court, after listening to the arguments of the various parties, which this case has traveled for some months now, came to the conclusion for 94 clause 2A of the 1992 Constitution, and putting it in context in the fact that James Jachikweisen at the time of filing this nomination had not shown proof that he had denounced his Canadian citizenship fully, was not one qualified to contest as a Member of Parliament, and that the National Democratic Congress allowing him to contest on their ticket was unconstitutional, that the Electoral Commission giving him the nod to contest in itself was also unconstitutional, and also the subsequent election of James Jachikweisen was unconstitutional, and the swearing in of James Jachikweisen was unconstitutional. So essentially what the court by unanimous decision has decided upon today is that all processes leading to the election of James Jachikweisen were unconstitutional, null and void, and are of no legal effect, and hence give a subsequent order that Parliament should take steps to expunge his name from the records of Parliament as a Member of Parliament. Essentially, what it will mean is that when you are going through the list of Members of Parliament or past Members of Parliament, the idea is that when you're going by the former records of Parliament, there shouldn't be any name as James Jachikweisen, as matter stands now, as a Member of Parliament or even as a former Member of Parliament of Asin North.
You've stated to us, one may ask that, what is next?
Well, we know that the NPP, since this matter has begun, has been looking at increasing its numbers in Parliament, and a number of seats were challenged on the side of the NDC equally. Some members with some seats belonging to the NPP were also challenged by the NDC. We've spoken to the Director of Elections of the New Patriotic Party, Evans Nimakon, and the point they are making essentially is that by this order from the Supreme Court, they're expecting that Parliament would declare the seat vacant, and when they declare the seat vacant, they will take the relevant steps to notify the Electoral Commission that the seat is vacant. And in accordance with law, they're expecting the Electoral Commission to call for a by-election in Asin North. And so they say they've been preparing for Asin North all this while, and despite the fact that they have a by-election in Kumawu to handle just coming Saturday, they are ever ready and prepared to take the Asin North seat when Parliament is notified and Parliament takes steps to organize a by-election.
So you spoke to the MPP there, but in this case, we know that we are certainly going to see some officials of the NDC there standing behind James Jachikweisen. If you can tell us some of the officials who were there, and if you've spoken to the lawyers of James Jachikweisen.
Well, James Jachikweisen was represented in court by the Chachuchikata. He was in court, but he didn't grant any interview to the media. So we didn't get any word from James Jachikweisen, neither did we get any word from his lawyer.
And again, can you put the case in context considering the numerous applications on this matter?
So this case started from the High Court in Cape Coast, and this is in line with constitutional provisions that matters relating to the election of a Member of Parliament or a Speaker of Parliament should be challenged at the High Court, and any decision that is given, a right of appeal is given to the parties at the Court of Appeal. So right after the 2020 general elections in 2021, if you remember, the NPP raised concerns about some constituencies where they thought that the persons who won in the first place were not qualified. Now, one of these places was Asin North and had to do with the dual citizenship issue. Another was Jomoro, but they lost Jomoro in court. So when they went to court at the High Court then ruled in their favor that the facts available to the court suggest that the certificate of renunciation of the citizenship of James Jachikweisen as a citizen of Canada came after he had given out or he has filed his nomination. And the wording of the law is that you should have denounced that citizenship at the time of filing your nomination. And so the court held that James Jachikweisen cannot hold himself as a member of parliament. The court then gave subsequent orders instructing James Jachikweisen or injuncting James Jachikweisen from holding himself as a member of parliament. We also remember that on the night of 6th January, when members of parliament were sworn in 2021, there was an injunction that was given to the clerk of parliament, but Jachikweisen was sworn in regardless. So having gotten the ruling or the judgment from the High Court, lawyers of Jachikweisen went to the Court of Appeal. Now, at the Court of Appeal, the case of James Jachikweisen was thrown out over some procedural issues. Then, even before the case was decided at the Court of Appeal, lawyers for the plaintiff here, Michael Ankumanimfa, came to the Supreme Court invoking the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, hoping to get the Supreme Court to declare that the James Jachikweisen holding himself as a member of parliament was unconstitutional. Before the matter could be before the judgment could be given in totality, an injunction earlier was secured on James Jachikweisen. And so for the past months, James Jachikweisen has not been holding himself as a member of parliament. Now, aside this leg of the case, there's a criminal leg of it where the state has sued James Jachikweisen, has filed criminal charges against James Jachikweisen for giving what they describe as giving false information to a public official. So essentially, until we get any reaction from the camp of James Jachikweisen, the other leg of the case that is left is a criminal aspect of the case, which is being undertaken by the state.
Okay, Hansen, many thanks for your time, and that is our court correspondent bringing us up to speed. Ordering the Parliament, that is the House, to expunge the name of James Jachikweisen. Seven-member panel of the Supreme Court bars Mr. Jachikweisen from holding himself as a member of Parliament. But Ni, what will be your brief take on this issue?
Well, interesting, if you ask me, because this is a clear case study for the recent conversation that has actually come up with regards to, dual citizenship and the holding of public office, and for which reason former President John Dramani Mahama has actually said that when he comes, as this case is concerned, we know how long it's traveled and the divided opinion. He shouldn't have found his way in Parliament in the first place. And for me, for the Supreme Court, yes, to bring finality to the matter, I think it's actually one that we have always been looking forward to. You remember the Jomoro case that was settled, and also this particular case. So if you look at the unanimous decision we are made to understand, it simply means that, well, the former member of parliament is a former member of parliament, because the Supreme Court has actually ruled that he cannot hold himself as MP for the people of, Asin North. So he was not qualified as at the time, he filed his nomination. and for which reason the Electoral Commission also allowed him to run without evidence or proof of his renunciation of the Canadian citizenship. Is also, unconstitutional, same as his election and also the swearing in Parliament. All of these, the Supreme Court feels that is null and void. It has also no effect. And so it's interesting how this particular one will end, because we know that the NPP and also the NDC will be preparing for you. So we will be looking forward to hearing from, mean for and we should just reconsider it and all that. And so it must be a bad day for the NDC and also a good day for the New Patriotic Party.
Rightly so. But we will bring you more of this on this story in our subsequent bulletins. Just stay with us here on City TV as we bring you more on this particular story. You're watching CNR Extra. Lives in Kolita mining community. Kindly stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Reflection of reality.
Two young men, brilliant student, best student in his school. He says, I believe in this.
Point of view.
As for the president's credibility in terms of and I can prove it. Sir Patrick Kwaso Bemautoma, this year, forget it.
Dialogue that informs your socio-political point of view.
I'm young enough to wait for God's opportunity tomorrow, and I'm not in a haste.
Are you lacing your boots for 2024?
Absolutely not.
They are not lacing. What time you see the shoe everywhere? Whether they are even boots?
They are not.
No, it's not Cambo.
A chance for the duty bearers to provide the citizens with an honest point of view.
We are being given rare and privileged access to a building which is part of the National Operations Directorate.
And we are so determined, to fight all manner of crime. Even the broad daylight robberies that we've seen and the footage.
Native chit-chat from the expert's point of view.
No, there is. In fact, that rumor has been said about so many vaccines. People said the tetanus vaccine causes infertility, and we are trying to make our women infertile. No, it's not true.
On the Point of View with Bernard Avle, every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on City TV.
Welcome back. Let's bring you some more stories. And a tragic Galamsey incident happened in Kolite mining community, which claimed 7 lives. Let's bring you that insert.
Now, the Eastern Regional Minister, Seth Achampo, has called on residents of Kolite to desist from engaging in illegal mining. There's more in this report.
This accident occurred in more or less a confluence in a border area where you have the two municipalities, Go West Municipality and Brim North Municipality, sharing administrative political boundary. And so in that area, more often than not, even though that falls more under the political administration of Brim North, in the Ghana Police Services Administration boundary, it falls under the Nkoko Divisional Police. So this is how it is affected. However, we are battling people in the Brim North area who have been going on illegal activity against Newmont Mines concessions. Now look at it, there is 7 people dead. And we are still on the search, taking people to see how many people are left there in the pit. And it is not an easy task exhuming these bodies from the belly of the earth. It's so painful. If you look at what is happening, nobody is happy about it.
This is a very sad incident, and the Eastern Regional Minister, that is Seti Champon, is asking that, well, they should desist from illegal mining. But I think that if some monitoring has been done, certainly you'll be able to notice that this is happening at a particular place, and the individuals, this I think could have been prevented. Because the country is fighting illegal mining. And if you're fighting illegal happening, and ensure that the
I've always been saying this because I do not think that communities are the blind side of traditional authorities, municipal authorities, and even residents. And so maybe we should be pushing for, if you see something in your community, say something. Because look, we know the devastating effect of illegal mining, otherwise known as galamsey, the desperate what I would want to say is, uncovered or, abandoned pits. People are being swallowed day in, day out because some of these things are not properly checked. And let us not have the conversation as if these things only happen with, illegal mining. Even in a proper or formalized mining more appropriate manner. Pits are covered after have lost their lives in the Eastern region, and actually this is not the first time. We've seen it in various regions nationwide, in the Ashanti region, the Western region, the Western North region, in the Bono region, and what have you. All the time, when people are trapped in uncovered pits, this is what we see, and the conversation will be and it ends there. Meanwhile, there are proper laws in the country regulating submitted reports that the presidency has actually I think it's not helping the conversation on this particular subject matter. We've said time without number that lives are at risk.
And still going on, but you can answer that question for yourself. Away from that story, let's go to the camp of the National Democratic Congress, because the leadership there has resolved the issue in the Ketu North constituency after the primaries and has declared Edem Agbana the winner of that elections.
Leadership of the National Kwete on Tuesday, May 16, 2023. There's more in this report filed by City News' Philip Neela-Taylor.
Primaries between the two, Bana and John Adanu Zenu, following a tie. Edem was initially declared the winner by a single vote, but upon 2 recounts, the EC discovered 3 ballot papers that were not stamped. 2 of the 3 unstamped ballots were cast in favor of Adam Agbana, whilst 1 unstamped. An earlier statement insisted that he was the winner, though the Electoral Management Body, Electoral Commission, ballot papers were part of the original ballots booklets provided by the party. Hence, there was no overvoting on the day.
Result had candidates Eric needed to go with the will of the great people of Ketunoff, because that is truly what their will was. And so we aided by my own self to executives and to the constituency executive. I won the candidate for Ketunoff.
Adam Agbana further apologized for utterances he made after the elections that did not augur well with the regional and constituency executives. He called on all to come together to win the 2024 election.
Let me also thank my opponents for, especially Mr. John Adanu and his team of lawyers, also for being a part of the meeting, and to say that I want to retract and apologize sincerely for some comments made in the heat of the moment. As we all know, when the tensions were high, we granted some interviews for those statements. I want to use this. It is important for all of us to unite to get 85% of the votes in the 2024 general elections. We need unity to achieve that.
The party has declared the peace to come together as they fight. City News. My name is Philip Latte. Party has resolved the issue yesterday. The chairman of the party, Johnson Esedu Nketia, was there. Fifi Abikwete, who addressed the team, was a lawyer, Eduji Tamaklu, and also for the voter regional executives were there, and the constituency executives were there as well. So
Banners actually showed, leadership. He's exhibited maturity and also expressed his readiness to serve. Why am I saying this? Because of the fact that he's admitted on the spur of the moment, in the aftermath, well with some of the members of the party, for which reason he's actually apologized and retracted say. And I also commend the party track, saying that as a party in waiting, how they are able to ensure their readiness. Account or hold, their will has actually been upheld by the party following the resolution of this particular he turns the fortunes or, we represent.
Well, he says that he's going to win some 85,000 votes for the party. Still,
we hope to see
with issues concerning the national executives have been speaking on the aspirants or the parliamentary candidates' hope for spring cash.
As it urged the Office of the Special Prosecutor to prioritize addressing come in response to the Office of the Special Prosecutor summoning a former during the recently concluded primaries of the NDC.
Executives and the aimed to understand the motivations behind the aspirants' behavior on that day. Had the opportunity to meet with to question her. Prosecutor should.
That case is not going anywhere, okay? Because the intention and what really surrounded happened within that space of the worried
about this because you should focus on other issues. But Nilate, what do you make of this? What do you make? What do you make of the decision by the executives in the Ashanti region? Do you think that the OSP shouldn't have gotten into this issue?
Well, very interesting position by the NDC as far as this issue is concerned. But if you listen to them clearly, their position is that they are trying to handle the issue internally, and so the special prosecutor should give them a break and also channel his energy. Monetization in our politics, and for me, I think that the failed parliamentary candidate was wrong with what she did. Franchise, you just go in there, spray cash on them. Manhandle.
Excellent.
For which it to deal with it. They've already invited her. They are going to look at the explanation she's going to provide and then trigger internal party processes. And if there are any sanctions, they will be meted out to
this will be a very interesting somewhere as they resolve the issue. You're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. The Electricity Company of Ghana takes steps to address potential challenges faced on its digital platforms.
Palace treated us well. Or not to touch. And of Ghana. Watch the Heritage Caravan Diaries, Day 4, Part 2.
after embarking on an exercise to recover funds owed it or monies owed it by some customers. The Electricity Company of Ghana says that it has taken measures, or it is taking phase.
ECG has taken proactive measures to address potential challenges faced by customers when using its digital platforms to purchase prepaid credit. Now, these measures Fred Juho provides further details in this report.
Since last week, ECG has been encouraging its customers to utilize its various digital platforms for purchasing prepaid credit. Through widely circulated messages, the company advises the public to minimize its visit to ECG vending officers. Absolutely necessary. The new enabling customers to make purchases from the comfort of their homes or offices. In the company's recently introduced cashless system, and enhance ECG's revenue by simplifying the process.
We are not taking cash for any payment, and here what us. But if you come to us, then it means you must load your cash on your mobile money wallet, and then through the support in cash payments, but only through the mobile money or through the bank. That's where you can use your MasterCard or your Visa card. For the customer, what it just means is if you owe us a bill, you don't need to come to any ECG to make a payment. You can just log on, add your meter, and make payments. So we have a team that's constantly monitoring and ensuring that even if there are challenges that pop up, they are resolved in the shortest possible time. So
some of the challenges we've seen with their, digital devices and applications should not be for you. Backyard. And so technology, I do not think anyone is against technology.
Exactly,
and so if, of course, the conversation cashless to
in the reports, Fred who made mention of to the water we drink. Anyway, that's how we end today's edition of City TV. My name is Philip Miller. Thank